Sandra Bullock, the muse who once gripped the world with her lightning-fast charisma and speed, and later claimed an Oscar for her soul-stirring turn in The Blind Side, stands as one of Hollywood's most luminous talents. But beyond the glamour of red carpets lies a tapestry of heart-wrenching tragedies that no scriptwriter could dream up. Her triumphant Oscar moment dissolved into devastation as her marriage imploded in just 10 days. In 2014, she huddled in a closet, her voice a fragile whisper on a 911 call, as an intruder breached her sanctuary. And the cruelest blow came in 2023, when Brian Randall, the man she called the love of her life, succumbed to ALS, leaving Sandra adrift in a void no award or applause could mend. Now, at 61, when she deserves the serenity of hard-won victories, Sandra Bullock navigates the echoes of grief, the sting of public scrutiny, and the unyielding weight of loss. So what anchors her? What lets her rise, not as a victim of sorrow, but as a pillar of quiet fortitude, a devoted mother, an unbreakable woman? In this story, we'll trace the brilliance and the shadows, revealing Sandra not merely as a screen icon, but as a profound survivor. On July 26, 1964, in a humble home with a weathered front porch in Arlington, Virginia, Sandra Annette Bullock entered the world with a cry that hinted at the fire within. Her father, John Bullock, was a steadfast U.S. Army sergeant and vocal coach, instilling discipline like a second language. Her mother, Helga Meyer, a German opera singer whose melodies once enchanted Europe's grandest halls, filled their lives with melody and rigor. Sandra's childhood wasn't one of want, but it brimmed with structure and high stakes. Backstage in opulent European theaters, under the glow of spotlights on velvet curtains, young Sandra perched silently, absorbing the world of choirs and arias. While other kids chased games on sunlit playgrounds, she was memorizing Mozart and Bizet, her tiny voice weaving into professional ensembles by age 5. By 10, she'd crisscrossed continents, from Nuremberg's cobblestone streets to Vienna's echoing academies, from drafty dormitories to rain-dripping rentals. When the family returned to America in 1976, the culture clash hit hard. Her European wardrobe and faint accent made her a target in Virginia hallways, where whispers turned to taunts and recess left her isolated in corners, eyes on the overlooked souls around her. That solitude? It seeded an empathy that would infuse every role she ever played. Home was never scarce, but it was transient, nights crammed on a single mattress amid perpetual packing, the scent of damp roofs mingling with half-unpacked trunks. German was her heart's tongue, English her armor. Straddling two worlds, she felt like an eternal outsider. By 1986, Sandra was on the cusp of a drama degree from East Carolina University, just credits shy of stability, but Broadway's siren call drowned out caution. She abandoned the diploma, stuffed a duffel with thrift store finds, and plunged into New York with a dream fiercer than her fear. The city bit back. Days blurred into fruitless auditions met with slammed doors. Nights meant slinging drinks as a bartender, dodging spills as a waitress, or hanging coats in smoky clubs. Her Hell's Kitchen walk-up? Peeling walls, no heat, winters that clawed through bones. Meals were ramen packets and scalding coffee, reheated on a hot plate. Alone under threadbare quilts, she'd murmur monologues to the traffic's roar outside, her resolve hardening with every no. The late 80s yielded scraps, bit parts in Hangman, Religion Inc., and Who Shot Patakango, roles that flickered briefly before vanishing into obscurity. Each flop etched a deeper scar, but from them her steel was born. Then, 1993's Demolition Man cracked the door, a supporting gig opposite Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes that whispered promise. A year later, The Thunderclap, Speed. Annie Porter wasn't scripted for her. It went to A-listers first. But in that audition, Sandra commandeered a metal chair, gripped a paper plate like a wheel, and drove that runaway bus with unfiltered grit and eyes ablaze. Her spark with Keanu Reeves crackled like live wire. The film roared to $350 million worldwide, catapulting the ramen-foraging dreamer into stardom. Those leaky roof nights, the schoolyard jeers, the hollow echoes of rejection, they all alchemized into her megawatt grin on the silver screen. Sandra Bullock had emerged from the fringes. Her pain and grit, now her superpower. In 1995, hot on Speed's heels, While You Were Sleeping sealed her as America's sweetheart, a lonely transit worker tumbling into rom-com bliss. From blistered feet behind counters to households chanting her name, she'd flipped a decade of drudgery into dominance. Hollywood had to reckon with her. Off-screen, she seized the reins. Fortis Films launched as her rebellion against being typecast. She produced Hope Floats, Miss Congeniality, 2 Weeks' Notice, and championed George Lopez on TV, proving she was no passive player. But Tinseltown tests every throne. Speed 2, Cruise Control in 1997? A sequel sans Keanu or spark, it sank under critics' knives, and Sandra, front and center, absorbed the shrapnel. She'd later quip, "I think only my mom liked it," masking the sting of greenlighting it to fund Hope Floats, her passion project. That was Sandra, enduring mockery to birth stories that mattered. Then, 2010, Zenith and Nadir entwined. On March 7th, Sandra ascended the Oscars, statuette in hand for embodying Lee Ann Toey in The Blind Side, a win that crowned her the pulse of empathy. The world toasted, but 10 days later, paradise fractured. Her marriage to Jesse James, that sun-kissed Santa Barbara idol built on dreams of family, shattered via tabloid exposés of his infidelity. The betrayal cut deepest because mere weeks prior in January, she'd quietly adopted 3-month-old Louis B. Bullock from New Orleans, a secret cradled in the Oscars clutch alongside his tiny socks. Now divorce ink dried as she rocked him through the night, paparazzi vultures circling. No vengeful soundbites, just a mother's vow. Shield him from the shards. That Oscar? It saluted not just acting, but a soul refusing to let agony rewrite her script. From glory to gut punch in a fortnight, she chose devotion over defeat. Fate wasn't done twisting the knife. On June 8, 2014, post-grueling day, Sandra slipped into her hushed LA haven, Louis safe with the nanny. At 1 a.m., serenity splintered, footsteps in the dark. Heart slamming, she barricaded her bedroom, burrowed into the closet, and dialed 911, her voice a fractured plea, raw terror unmasked. The intruder? Joshua Corbett, a stalker fixated for days, armed in obsession if not arsenal that night. Police nabbed him swiftly, but the breach lingered like poison. Triggers from creaks, hypervigilance behind tinted glass, dread that Louis might absorb her shadows. EMDR therapy became her quiet war, reclaiming calm not for headlines, but for bedtime stories untainted by fear. Hollywood's gales she'd weathered. This was the tempest in her psyche, yet in irony's grace, it ushered light. At Louis's 5th birthday in 2015, photographer Brian Randall captured joy unposed. He saw past the icon to the weary, real woman. What began professional bloomed tender. By year's end, Sandra adopted daughter Layla from the same agency, and Brian wove in seamlessly. Dad to her little humans, sparking dinners into delight, mending her guarded heart. Unwed, but unbreakable, their haven pulsed with the peace fame couldn't buy. Then 2020, the unsparing verdict. Brian, that gentle architect of their warmth, was diagnosed with ALS, a thief that ravaged body while sparing mind's torment. They cloaked it in privacy, not shame, but to preserve the kid's unclouded wonder. No red carpet vanishing act for pity. Sandra's world shrank to homebound heroism. She mastered feeding tubes and monitors, laced ordinary days with levity, balloon-strewn parties where Brian was hero, not patient. Laughter drowned the beeps. Crayon art met his faltering grip. On August 5, 2023, at 57, Brian slipped away, Sandra's hand in his, the children clustered in wordless ache. No fanfare, just a void devouring the laughter-filled rooms. For her, it eclipsed all, the love she'd reclaimed, dissolving before her. No spotlight could pierce that eclipse. Grief's aftershock? 9 days later, The Blind Side's legacy ignited lawsuits. Michael Oher alleging Tuohy family manipulation. Sandra, uninvolved legally, was collateral. Online venom demanding her Oscars return as if loss entitled cruelty. A widow in widow's weeds, stripped of even that bittersweet emblem. Her reply? None. Grace over grudge, motherhood her mooring. That's Sandra's core, not box office billions, but loving through fracture, tending through torment, rising through ruin. As 2023's gales subsided, Sandra endured, unbowed, redefined by endurance's glow. At 61, she savors seclusion from Hollywood's glare. Her $39 million real estate mosaic is sanctuaries. The stilted Malibu perch where Pacific sunsets soothe. A shaded Beverly Hills cocoon for renewal. Tybee Island's Georgia tides where Louis and Layla chase waves in salt-kissed freedom. These aren't assets. They're respites earned through grit. With a $250 million net worth, from Gravity's groundbreaking payday to Bird Box's binge-fueled quake, her true fortune? Pancake mornings, undivided. Post The Lost City in 2022, she hit pause on acting, prioritizing presence. That's my only gig now. Fortis Films hums on. Tinseltown holds breath, but her script? Co-authored with Louis and Layla, guarded with the ferocity once reserved for scripts. Hollywood enshrines Sandra Bullock, Rejection's alchemist, Gravity's solo cosmos, rom-com's queen, action's adrenaline. Yet her truest imprint? Dignity's quiet roar. Brian's photo lingers near. His echo threads their tales for the kids. Amid the hush, she presses on. Pilates flows, kickboxing fury, bike trails blurring tears into sweat. Weekends whirl and dance. Her glow, when glimpsed, defies the scars. No more spotlights define her. It's the residue of fade-out, a woman scorning scandal's script, intrusion's chill, illness's theft, loss's lash. She opts for love's rewrite, silence's shield, compassion's compass. Sandra Bullock's Odyssey? No glossy biopic, but a resilient refrain. Triumphs tempered in trial, beauty unscarred by blaze. We behold not a celestial body, but a beacon, survivor, matriarch, soul aglow. Her flame? Eternal stormproof. So here's to Sandra, a testament that grace outlives the gale. If her light moves you, let it linger.